Has your company promised you a raise, a promotion, or some other future opportunity? Today we're going to talk about just how valuable that really is. It's not. It's completely worthless until it's been realized. You could collect a dump truck full of promises and it would be worth exactly $0. Now I want to quickly say, not every promise is misleading. So not every time a company tells you they'll give you a raise in the future or anything like that, it doesn't always mean that it's negative or that they're lying to you, but it's of no value. You don't actually have the raise, you don't actually have the promotion, and so what worth is it to you? And the answer is nothing. It should be nothing. But a lot of people, unfortunately, seem to put a lot of stock into these promises when they're making these major career decisions. So I think one of the main questions is, why is this so prevalent? Why do companies make these promises? And the answer is a few different things. One, they want to keep valuable employees. And so they'll promise things in hopes that you will stay. Two, they want to attract top talent. And a lot of times to attract top talent, you have to entice them. And a future promise, a 90-day review with a promotion into a better job, all of those things are going to get those higher quality candidates to want to join your company. Additionally, it reduces turnover. People who are going to leave, if they have some carrot dangled out in front of them, they're less likely to leave. Another reason is that it keeps costs low. Instead of giving someone a raise or promotion, you just promise them the raise or the promotion. They stick around, you never pay them, you never promote them, you just saved money and kept an employee. And then the last thing is that leaders are scared of confrontation. There are, unfortunately, just a lot of leaders out there who are scared of confrontation. They don't want unhappy employees. They don't want to have to deal with it. And so they'll just say whatever makes you happy. And so it ends up being an unfulfilled promise because they just want you to quit complaining and not be mad at them. Now, sometimes, yes, it's just a quick reaction, throwing a promise out there to resolve a problem. But there are times where it is a legitimate promise, where the leader has every intention of fulfilling that promise. They're not trying to mislead you. They're not trying to lie. They legitimately hope to be able to fulfill whatever that promise is. But I would argue, regardless of which type you think it is, whether you think it's a dishonest promise or whether you think it's legitimate, you should view both of them the same way when considering career changes. They bring you no value until they've been realized. So I say that for a few reasons. Number one, it's almost impossible to tell which type of promise you've been guaranteed. Sometimes your leader may be sincere. They legitimately want to give you what they've promised. But their leader may have been the one that lied and said, yes, we can give them a promotion, when really they just wanted their leader to quit asking. So you don't know. Two, leaders may leave or get fired. And then that promise that you were waiting on is no longer fulfilled because that new leader didn't make that promise. And your company may not care that that leader made the promise to you before they were fired. Additionally, budgets change. Your company is going to resubmit a budget every year. And with that budget, each department, each leader is going to have to submit a new budget. So you may be in a situation where when they made that promise, they thought they were going to have the budget they needed, but turns out they don't. And part of that may be that a more valuable employee, as unfortunate as it may be, came along and asked for a raise, and that money they were going to give to you now went to that other person that they can't afford to lose. So budgets change. Similar to budgets is economic issues. Depending on your industry, let's say you work in retail. COVID hits, half your stores have to shut down. Well, now, what may have been something that would have been easy to do before, they may not have the money as a company to give raises to anybody. So economic issues can happen that can also derail what would have otherwise been a legitimate promise. And then lastly is higher level leadership changes. The reality is that a lot of companies, when higher level leaders change, it's a domino effect through the whole organization of other leaders that change. And you may lose your leader through that, or even if you don't, you may have a higher level leader that wants to handle things differently. They may place value on different employees differently. They may transition the whole department or area into another direction, and that can also derail any future promises. You may have been promised a promotion into a new role, and a new higher level leader may say, you know what, I don't really think you need that role. And they may take that role out completely, and now your promotion opportunity is gone. The harsh reality is that in almost every case, you as the employee have very little say over how these promises go. Yes, you can hold up your end of the bargain, but it doesn't mean that they're going to hold up theirs, regardless of how honest or not they were. I just went through all the reasons why even well-meaning promises could get derailed. But there's also the idea that companies want to save money. They're out for their own interests, just like you should be out for yours. And so even if you do everything you were supposed to do to fulfill your end of the deal, they may just say, well, what we really wanted you to do was this, you didn't do that, so you're not getting a raise. Or they may just say, no, we can't do it. It's not in the budget anymore. So a lot of times employees, unfortunately, just have very little say over how these promises go. And that's why I wouldn't rely on them too much. So overall, what is my opinion? I think I've made it pretty clear. Not all promises are negative. I'm not saying that you should look at all of them with a degree of skepticism. But what I am saying is base your career decisions, the moves that you make throughout your career, base that on real, tangible things. Base pay, benefits, total compensation, the company, anything that you want. But future promises should not be a part of that. Unless those promises are realized, they bring absolutely nothing to your situation. And I think overall, you'll be better off if you just ignore the promises. And if they get fulfilled, great. And if they don't, no big deal. So that's my opinion. That's my 2 cents. And I will see you guys in the next one.